you're about to hear may sound too crazy to be true, like something from a movie script or a tall tale told over a few drinks. A man survives a train crash, then a plane crash, then his bus plunges into a river. His car catches fire. He gets hit by a bus. He falls off a mountain. But he lived every single time. And just when the world thinks it's done messing with him, he wins the lottery. This isn't fiction. It's real. No superpower. No headlines. Just one man living a life that defies logic. His story is almost like a video game with different levels. It started on a cold morning, a train winding through the mountains. The track was covered in ice, but all of a sudden the train derailed and plunged into a river. It crashes into a freezing river. 17 people died in that accident, but one man survives. Broken arm, bruised ribs, but very much alive. That should have been the end of the story, but there are more. 1 year later, he was on a small plane. Mid-air, the door of the aircraft rips open. He's thrown out. No parachute, just sky and a haystack waiting below. And he perfectly landed on it. And the plane crashes. Everyone dies. But not him. Just pure, ridiculous luck. 3 years later, he is in a bus. It was a narrow road, and the driver loses control. This time, instead of a train, the bus plunges into a river. 4 people died in that accident, but he swims out. He survives again. Years go by. He tries a safer mode of travel, a car this time. But the engine burst into flames while he was driving. Now, you must be thinking that his story ends here, right? No. He jumps out just before the tank explodes, alive and kicking. But just hold on. We are not done yet, and it's getting weirder. Another car accident happens within few years. Flames shoot through the air vents. His hair burns, his face burns, but he survives again. But wait, this is just level 5. There are more. Few years later, he thought walking down the street is probably the safest. Then comes a bus. This time, thankfully he was not inside. But so what? This time, the bus hits him. He gets up, walks it off, scratch free. Alright, now take a deep breath. Because here comes the next curve. The final test comes on a mountain road. His car skids, breaks the barrier, flying towards a 30-foot drop. He decided not to wait and see what happens. He jumps mid-air, catches a tree like a cool and smooth movie stunt, and patiently watches his car vanish into the canyon below. Does it sound like another sequence from a Charlie Chaplin movie? But this is fact, not fiction. 7 brushes with death. 7 impossible escapes. And just when you think the man's luck ran out, boom, plot twist. 2 days after turning 73, the man buys a lottery ticket and won nearly 1.1 million US dollar. In 2003, that was a fortune. For someone who had walked away from train accident, plane crash, car explosion, a bus hit, and a mountain fall, fate finally turned the tables. With the winnings, he bought 2 houses and a speedboat. But maybe that was more than he needed. Years later, in 2010, he sold his home on a private island, gave away most of his money to friends and family, and embraced a simple life again. He kept only what he needed for a heap operation and built a small shrine in gratitude. He did it on his own terms. By now, it all sounds unbelievable. One man, 7 deadly accidents, and then a lottery win. But how much of it is true? Let's take a closer look. First, the man himself. His name is Frenzelak, and he was real, and his story is viral on social media. He was a Croatian music teacher, born in 1923 and died in 2016. His lottery wins in 2003 was confirmed in local Croatian media. He actually won about $1 million. It's also true that he spent most of his money in charity, saying money can't buy happiness. These details are true and verified. But what about the accidents? That's where things get fuzzy. He claimed the train crash in 1962, a derailment near a river. But there is no official record that confirms that accident. What about the plane crash in 1963? No aviation records confirm such an event. The bus crash, the car explosion, the bus hits, the mountain fall. These stories all came from Fren himself, told in later interviews. But there are no photos, no witnesses, no press coverage at the time. He didn't write a book. He didn't seek TV interviews. These tales were passed first through Croatian media, then picked up by international outlets, and finally went viral online. So, were they real? Maybe. Or maybe, like many legends, they started with truth and grew into myth. But here is what matters. Fren never tried to cash in on the story. He never asked for a Netflix deal. No TED Talk. Just a humble man who said, "I never asked for attention, I just lived." Whether it was divine protection, outrageous luck, or just great storytelling, you decide what to believe. Maybe you believe in fate. Maybe you believe in math. Or maybe, like Frenzelak, you just believe in getting up every time life throws you off a cliff. He never asked for fame. He never wrote a book. He lived and he nearly died again and again without ever becoming bitter. He said, "I would rather have a little peace than a lot of money." In a world chasing survival, riches, attention, Fren chased none of it. So maybe he wasn't the world's luckiest man. Maybe he was just the world's most grateful one. And now you know his name, Frenzelak, the man who refused to die, or maybe the man who knew how to live. You decide.